and welcome back to Autofunk. I'm Llewellyn.
I'm Chris.
And this is our new project, sort of new, because we've had it for a few months, but we've not told you guys. Corvette C5 Convertible. And this episode is probably going to be a bit of a long form, but it's all about this car basically, because it's got quite an interesting history. So we bought it in June.
Yeah, May, June.
Seems
like
time.
A long time ago now.
And we bought it sight unseen. And the story with this car is it was imported from Japan 12 years ago.
So America to Japan to here, more air miles than Taylor Swift. I can't say it.
Yeah,
more air miles than Taylor Swift.
It's done a lot more air miles than it's done miles in the UK, I can tell you that much. But basically, somebody imported it 12 years ago and they lost all of the registration paperwork. And there's no paperwork whatsoever, so they basically lost all of the paperwork. We're lucky that it had a key, to be fair. So they couldn't register it and they couldn't use it on the UK roads, and for whatever reason, they just kept it in their garage.
I guess time just gets away from people, as it does.
We like a challenge, we like a Corvette, and we like cheap cars. So it was...
kind of fits all three.
And it was quite local. It was only about 15, 20 miles away.
And fundamentally, you can tell it's quite a nice car.
Yeah, it's a nice car. But we had to go through a long process getting it registered, which was a major effort, to be honest. But now we've got the paperwork, we've got the MOT and the number plate. It's insured, it's totally road legal, and I've been using it for the last couple of weeks, and it's actually been really good. But what we'll do now is we'll just rewind, and I'm going to show you a little montage of when we first collected the car, when we took it for an MOT, a few bits on the paperwork, and when we took it to a body shop as well, because we did get the wheels refurbished and we had the bumper painted and the rear clam painted. So I'll cut to that now and you'll join us back on the drive shortly. And here's where the adventure begins. So this was collection day. We were picking the car up on the trailer. Obviously it was completely not road legal at all at this point, but we rented a trailer from our favourite trailer company, who I'll name down in the description below. If you're in Nottingham and you need a trailer, go and see them. But yeah, loaded up the trusty Defender and departed for our journey home with our new project car. So it all went well, it went on the trailer okay. The car was driving from a jump pack. The battery had seen better days, but the car started lovely, even though it hadn't been used for so long. I mean, it had been sat for probably, we think, 10 to 12 years. So it's just coming off the trailer now, and we're about to park it in my garage now. You guys won't have seen this before, but at the time, I've sold the house now, but at the time I had a spare garage at a house which I had on Airbnb, my second home, which is no longer my second home because it's sold. But it was a nice little place to squirrel the car out of the way. And you can probably tell by the weather here on these video clips that it was quite a while ago now. You don't get sunshine very often in England like this. This was a nice day. I think it was probably, I don't know, May, June sort of time. So I'm just reversing it up my very narrow drive, which I won't lie, I've caught my cars on this a few times. So it was a bit of a squeeze getting up the drive, but slow and steady wins the race, and then it goes through that little pinch point, and shortly it'll be in the garage. What we basically had to do was park it up and then do a load of very boring paperwork with the DVLA and get the car registered, which was a long process. And the garage is a decent size, but the car is quite long really for English garages. But we got the car in there, reversing it back very gently. As you can see, there's a load of old tools and stuff like that in there. But there it is, happy days, and we were very excited at this point, not quite sure what we'd bought. Anyway, the first thing that we needed to do was take the car for an MOT. So in this clip that you can see here, this is in the MOT station. Now the car wasn't registered at this point, so what we needed to do was use the VIN number of the car to MOT it. So the car was actually MOT'd against the VIN number which we needed to have done as part of the DVLA process of registration. That just sort of proves the validity of the car, proves that the car exists, and sort of corroborates that VIN number information. Because for registering it with no paperwork, we had to basically create a story and a history of the car to prove that it existed, really. So that was lots of photos of the VIN numbers around the car, the MOT certificate. We had to get a letter from the Corvette Museum showing the original build date. Then the DVLA rejected the application because that wasn't sufficient evidence. So then I had to go back to Chevrolet Europe and ask Chevrolet Europe to send us an official letter stating the exact build date, because the issue that the DVLA had with registering it was that there was no exact proof of the exact build date. But we got there in the end, and they issued, after £400, they issued a new registration, T625 TRH. Alright, so I'm about to take this car to the body shop. Let's just have a look what it needs. It's not actually too bad, to be honest. Obviously it's been sat for 12 years, 10, 12 years, something like that. But yeah, we're gonna take it to my friend who's got a little body shop in Leicester, and just get him to tidy it up, really. So I'll spin you around and we'll have a bit of a closer look. Alright, so the mirrored Corvette badge definitely needs to go, can get rid of that. The whole car wants a massive polish. The deck lid is dusty, but it's okay. Main problem area is on, I don't know what you'd call this, like the roof cover. This part's okay, but this part on both sides has got some sort of micro blistering. The paintwork looks original, but it's just lifted on these corners. I reckon it's because it's been sat for ages. Maybe like moss and algae's been on there. But yeah, essentially we need to get this painted. The doors are okay. On the bumper, I'll show you when it's out of the garage, but there's just a few scuffs. And of course, black wheels, not for me, so they are going to be changed. And I mean, it actually looks really sharp, even as is, but we want to make it as good as it can be. So we're just going to get these bits of bodywork done and get the wheels replaced. So I'm going to get this out of the garage now, and you'll join me at the body shop, and Luke will have a look around it and give me a price. Now it's out of the garage, just have a closer look at the front. And basically it's okay, but there's quite a bit of damage down there. So I think the front bumper probably needs painting, or I'm not sure if he'll be able to do a local blow-in. And that tow hook looks like it's moved, so I want to get the jack on it and just sort of prise that tow hook up so it's not touching on the bumper as much. But yeah, it's a tidy car really. It's going to be a really, really nice car. It's nice to have something that's not broken for a change. Anyway, let's get this front number plate on. This is only temporary, by the way. These are all I've got to hand. But hopefully they'll get us to the body shop, and then we can refit them properly once the bumper's been painted. And there you go, starting to look like an actual car now. We've been waiting for months to crack on with this, so it's really quite exciting that we're getting to actually bloody do the thing now. What do you reckon to the convertible shape anyway? I think it looks really nice. Very cool. Oh, I've just got to close the bonnet properly. And I think close the boot as well. Maybe that needs adjusting. Oh no, it's not closed. There you go. Right, let's get to the body shop and see what Luke's going to charge me for doing the bits of paintwork. Oh, and in case you're wondering where we're filming from my other house. It's an Airbnb house, and I've got a garage, so this car's been stored in here. Unfortunately, I'm selling this house, so in the next couple of weeks it will be gone and I won't have the garage anymore. So I need to find a home for this. I'm here at my friend Luke's body shop, Spray Doctors in Leicester. Check him out if you want any paintwork doing. He'll look after you if you tell him that I sent you. But he's given me a price, I'm happy with it. It's going in next week, so I'm going to leave it here and get the wheels painted, bumper, rear roof cover, and he's going to give it a bit of a polish for us as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting it back. Stay tuned. So that brings us just about to the point where we're registered, we're MOT'd, we're road legal, and we've had some paintwork done. Back to Chris's. So that's about where we're up to at the moment. Shall we have a look around the car?
Yeah, I can't remember anything about this car, so I've not seen it in months, literally since it was dropped off. First thing I do notice,
Go on.
it's got the air dam bumper things at the bottom, which I'm quite often missing.
One of them's practically touching the floor, I can see.
But they are there.
So that needs to be looked at.
The curb catchers. The wheels have come out well.
Yeah, so the wheels when we got the car were jet black, which Chris wasn't that bothered about. I hated.
They weren't great.
Like black
They
wheels.
weren't done well anyway, were they?
No, they weren't great. They looked like they'd been rattle canned.
I'm quite a fan of gunmetal actually. Silver might have been too bright on it.
It looks pretty sharp, doesn't it? It needs a good polish. There's a view
This
of the
bit's
rear.
been painted as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, that rear clam has been painted. The hood's in good condition, it just needs a clean. We noticed that if you look at Chris's car, he's got smoked reversing lights.
Never noticed that until
And
now.
this one's got very bright ones. I think they both look cool, to be fair.
Yeah.
What
What do you think of the old chrome infill?
Oh, the chrome in. Do you know it's grown on me slightly, that chrome infill?
Gives it a bit of brightness.
It looks, yeah, I think it sort of just brightens up the back end of it, doesn't it?
Reminds me of a BlackBerry. They used to have chrome infills in their phones.
Yeah. I'm not a massive fan of chrome, but I think that kind of works. This car in Japan, I think it must have had a bit of a life. If you look at the shut line of that wing there, you can see that it sticks out a little bit.
It does go back.
It does go back, but the reason for that is it used to have these scissor doors on it, these Lamborghini style doors, so that you can see that there's a puller there, and then there's a little bit of damage just here near the catch where it was obviously not very well aligned. Those tread plates are absolutely gross, but overall the interior is nice. And
It's quite a dusty garage it was kept in. It had a lot of, I don't know if they were cutting plasterboard in there or something, but it was dust everywhere.
Yeah, it's really dusty and horrible. It needs a really deep clean. Let's have a look under the engine bay. So the engine bay is pretty good. Nice and original generally. It's got an aftermarket air filter.
That tomato plant or something, hopefully?
God knows what that is. Japanese knotweed.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it runs lovely. You grab that, let me just start it. We'll give it a bit of a rev. I've got my my single key with a Totaro key ring on there, because it's Japanese.
It is warm, so it's driven it here.
Sounds nice, doesn't it?
Sounds tasty, that.
And I reckon
That sounds really good.
the convertibles look amazing.
The detail of the of that, harking back to the 60s and 50s Corvettes.
Oh, the waterfall.
That's the word, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Really does add something.
Yeah, and it's easy to pop the boot. You just lift this up and pull the hood. It's a manual hood. So the plan today is to basically repair a load of little niggles, which we'll talk you through as we go. Give it a bit of a deep clean, and just try and breathe some life back into it, really, because it's tired. But there's a nice car under here. I'll talk to you about the numbers because you're probably wondering, and we've got nothing to hide. We bought the car for £6.5 grand. It cost us 400 quid with the DVLA to get it registered. The MOT was about 50 quid, and the paintwork was 500 quid. So
That's where it stands as.
It stands us in at about just under 7.5 grand. Well, call it 7.5 grand with the insurance payments that we've made so far. So that's what it owes us. We're looking to make a little bit of money on it. So if someone wants to make us a little offer, this could be yours. And it is a wicked car. I've been driving it a lot, and it does go really well. So shall we, what do you want to do first? Do you want to do the engine-based stuff?
Yeah, maybe we'll get the original airbox in.
Yeah. So I've got a box of bits here.
They're out the crashed one, I assume.
These are out of the crashed one. Which
They need a good clean up, obviously, and then go in.
Yes, they need a... Oh, the left-hand pop-up, we've not really talked through the faults, have we?
That's true.
Yeah, so the things that we know are wrong with it is the left-hand pop-up light doesn't work. You can pop... For the MOT, we wound it up manually, so the pop-up light was permanently on, so it passed the MOT on the lights. But we've got a used motor, so we're going to change the motor on the pop-up headlight on the left side. The original airbox needs to go on. We've got, where is it? It's in the car somewhere, but I'm not sure where. The oil pressure switch, or the oil pressure gauge sender for the gauge, is faulty.
So it's just pinned at maximum.
Yeah, so you can see that the oil pressure gauge is pinned. It is a bit of a pain to change the oil pressure switch, or sender, because it's back here somewhere, and the intake plenum has to come off. Chris knows how to do that, so I'm going to leave that to Chris and I'll mess around with some other stuff. So yeah, headlight. So under the bonnet we've got air filter, headlight, oil pressure switch, and then interior wise we're going to change these like we did on Kev.
They always go flapping in the wind.
Yeah, they're like horrible.
I think mine had new ones as well.
Yeah, yours had new ones as well. They're just
cheap, aren't they?
Yeah,
they just go bad.
The mirror
is that delaminated?
Yeah, it's delaminated. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So the mirror's delaminated. We have in my little box of goodies another mirror, but this mirror is out of a late C5, so they changed the design slightly. But I think,
as long as the electrical plugs are the same.
Well, I think what we're going to have to do is just use the glass out of it. So I'm hoping that the glass is identical, which it should be. So it needs a good clean and polish. It needs the hood cleaning. So the other thing is, the wiring loom for the rear lights is in a bit of a state because it's like all C5s that aren't in America anymore. It's been butchered to high heaven. So we just need to pop these out and mess around with the wiring and get the connections a little bit better. And then it just needs sort of everything coming out of it really, and just a good clean. So let's crack on. We'll start under the bonnet, do all that, and then we'll maybe what do you want to do then? Clean the interior?
Clean the interior, wash it down, go to the pub.
Sounds good to me. All right, so let me get that pressure switch. You may as well carry on filming. Shit.
It's good. Store your bottles on your freshly painted deck lid.
Why not?
Usually what I would do.
All right, so if you have a look in the boot or the trunk, we've got a right load of crap in here that we need to go through and sort out. This is the oil pressure switch. So it's a really simple device. There's a plug on the top of it, and it basically just threads in to the engine. Put the plug in and that's it. So it's dead easy to fit, but access is a little bit tricky. What else do we need out of here? Oh, the other thing that I didn't mention is the horn.
That doesn't work.
The horn doesn't work. But I've got
Must have worked in the MOT though. It's just stopped working.
Temporarily wired it.
Oh, okay.
had to do a bodge wiring job.
Anyone thinking we've got dodgy MOTs, would we?
For the record, we haven't got dodgy MOTs.
It was just fashioned up for the MOT.
Yeah. Did a temporary wiring job on the horn. But let's get cracking under here then, mate.
Yeah.
Alright, so here we are then. We've taken the covers off to start with. There's some growth going on here. That all needs to go.
Surprised it's not burnt, to be honest. It just shows you how cool they must run.
Yeah.
These are the worst gloves in the world. I don't know why I still have these.
Better than wearing no gloves.
Well, just about. I'll be wearing no gloves shortly when these fail.
And then there's all this. I don't know what all this stuff is.
Rat's nest?
I don't think it's a rodent nest. It might be.
I think it is.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Might want to put the oil cap back on. Where's that gone? Oh, it's disappeared. Yeah,
the oil cap's there, yeah.
Don't get any of that detritus inside the car.
Go on then, Chris. I'll let you do your magic with this.
Yeah.
What I might do is take the airbox out while you're doing that.
Okay,
actually.
you can have that screwdriver then.
Cheers, mate.
You'll need that. There might be stuff underneath. Actually, is it a good idea to do this first? It's still quite warm, actually.
Well, I think it'll be all right, won't it?
Right, yeah. Hopefully it's cooled down. But I might need the vacuum. I don't want any of that falling into the ports when I take it off.
There we go. So that's definitely seen better days. It's not horrendous, but I just prefer factory fitted stuff, really. You got any cutters with you?
Yeah, there's something there.
Do you mind if I get these off?
What is it? Yeah, get it out.
I'm going to get rid of these old alarms as well, because these are obviously redundant. So we'll just snip these off. Pull the wiring back through there for now, because that might be needed later. Not fully worked out whether they're factory or not. If anybody knows if they're factory, let us know in the comments. I suspect that they're not.
They don't look very factory to me.
No. The remnants of the K&M bracket. Lovely. I think it does utilise the original air filter mount, so you need to have a look at that. So here's our brand new second-hand air filter.
That may as well stay off for now.
What, the air filter?
Yeah, because
Do you reckon?
it gets in the way for taking this forward.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. It's better if it's off. Hopefully my vacuum cleaner will have charged up a little bit, because I just want to get all this detritus out of the way before lifting this, so it doesn't all go inside the engine, which would be nice. I'll take this jacket off in a moment, so I'm getting kind of warm.
How are you getting on, Chris?
Yeah, pretty good. Just these bolts are all loosened, and then possibly, I think I might need to take that off.
Yeah.
Because that's in the way, but I don't know. I might be able to wangle it out without doing that. We'll see.
So what's that? The
Throttle body.
throttle body.
And there's a coolant line for the steam vent tubes,
Oh yes.
which I'll just have to pinch off, but I'll do that last.
Pinch it off.
I'll do that last, and I've got some grip things and a little plug thing to go in there, so I shouldn't leak too much.
Awesome.
I don't think it's a showroom engine bay anyway, so I think leaking a bit of coolant's not going to really hurt it any, is it, for today? It's all got to be cleaned anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. I want to get the Hoover out and just
All right.
before I take this off, because I don't want to get all that in the valve train, ideally. So I'm just waiting for that to charge. And there's a couple of vacuum lines at the back as well, obviously.
Cool.
And that's it. That just pulls off. That needs to come off.
Alrighty.
It's all good fun. It's surprisingly clean.
You think it's been off before then?
It's quite clean. It shouldn't be this clean.
It is very clean under there, actually, isn't it? But it is a low mileage car.
True. It's not done a lot, has it?
No. We didn't talk about the mileage, but it's done about 70,000. So pretty low, really.
Just for a Corvette.
Yeah.
Might have to take the coil packs off and clean the valve covers.
I think the overall condition of the car sort of reflects the mileage, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those. It's just dirty. It's just not been used in a while.
Whoever had it in Japan, or God knows when it was clean, but they've used, like, the body shop weren't very happy with me, to be honest. They'd used some sort of silicone-based cleaner.
Furniture polish?
God knows what it was, but it was all over the interior, all over the bodywork. It was
That shine juice stuff.
Horrible.
I always use.
It's like boot polish.
Yeah. Have you cleaned on here?
I've cleaned that door card slightly.
I say these aren't as bad as I remember.
No.
They're just dusty, aren't they?
But they need a deep clean, don't they? And also, there's loads of wiring. Like Japanese cars, whenever you have a car imported from Japan, they've always got like loads of bits of wiring everywhere, like stuff. I don't know why, but that's another thing, you know, we need to strip all these old bits of cable. We'll get there with it. This is going to be a really nice car, I reckon. It already drives really well.
Now the seals underneath the plenum.
I've not looked.
Pretty non-existent.
Are they?
Yeah, very, very, very flat.
All right.
Aren't they?
I think they'll be all right.
Probably don't film me getting it all over him. I would like this to be a bit shinier. Yeah, what's that thing there? That's the oil pressure switch.
That's the oil pressure switch, yeah.
It's not dangling around. It's okay.
Have you got an oil pressure switch remover?
No.
It's just a big socket, isn't it?
It's a funny shape though, isn't it? Because it's not hex or anything. It's like round.
I think if you break the head off this one,
Then it'll work.
like that, which I've just done because it's broken. Remember, it's broken anyway.
Doesn't matter now, doesn't matter. Then that will go on there nicely.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's not torqued up very much.
And the other one can just be wangled in. Testing.
There you go. Common failure there, aren't they?
Yeah, I've heard a lot about those going on.
Oil pressure sender is in. It's been a little bit of a pain because grab one of those leads.
Oh yeah, the spark plugs. This happens a lot.
Every single one of these little spark plug leads, more or less, snapped. Luckily, we had a spare set, so we've put them in, but we've not started it yet, so we don't know if the oil pressure sender has fixed the oil pressure gauge.
It wasn't pinned on ignition. Is that normal? Was it pinged on ignition?
Pinned on ignition, yeah.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Oh, I don't know. Anyway,
it isn't now. Anyway,
it isn't now. All right, okay. So we'll start it. Are the keys in it?
It's in. Yeah.
The other thing, while Chris has been doing that, I've taken the headlights out. The reason being is, first of all, we've got to fix the motor on this side, which we'll look at in a minute. We also need to fit these, which are the brake ducts, which are missing. So they feed air.
Where's the clutch?
Through that hole and then into the wheel well. They're missing both sides, so I thought if we take the headlights out, we can deal with all of that and mess around with any weird wiring that might be in there. So yeah, we'll do that next, but for now let's just start it. And running on all 8?
Sounds like it.
Does it feel like it?
Sounds like it to me.
Cool. And what's the oil pressure gauge saying?
40. It would be 40 if it was at a normal PSI, but it's got kph, whatever that means. I've absolutely no idea.
Kilopascals.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Happy days. There
40 pieces is what I like to see.
40 pieces. Well, it's halfway up the gauge, so that looks normal.
That's about right, yeah.
And they're all on those leads, aren't they?
Sounds like it. Sounds okay?
Sounds good to me. So it's quite a basic design. It's got a relay and a couple of transistors on there and some resistors and things. What we've spotted is this bar here where it says F2.
A little jumper.
That looks like it's melted, and then it sort of melted itself onto the leg of that transistor, doesn't it? So I think what we're going to try and do is just clean that up and put a little jumper wire on it, see what happens.
See if it works. Might do.
Can probably jumper it from the back somehow. It'd take a little bit of working out.
No.
But yeah.
Make it look factory by the time it's done.
Yep, and see what happens. All right, we'll do that now and report back. So the plan is to get rid of that and replace it with that and cross our fingers and toes and see what happens.
If it does work, I think put some proper fuse wire in it.
Yeah.
It's just a bodge for now. People love the bodge for now, don't they?
Isn't there a saying, if it works, it's not a bodge? There you go.
Can be.
That's one.
Good, isn't it, that solder sucker?
Yeah, it works all right, doesn't it? So what do we think? Do you think this will work?
Yeah, I think it's got a chance. Unless there's some other reason why.
Why it
I
failed.
can't see why, yeah, some other reason why it failed.
Done.
Let's try it.
All right, in real time then. Let's go over to the car. Shall I click it back in this?
You can do. It's up to you. It doesn't really make any odds, I don't think.
Are we going to do anything else in there if it doesn't work? Probably not.
No.
Okay, let's click that back in there then. Imagine if this actually works.
And it might do. It might do.
It actually works. I won't mount it in the car yet.
No, just plug her in.
Right, so ignition. That's on.
So I hold this.
Hang on, I've just got to connect this up. It's fixed. Woo!
That's it.
It's fixed. But are they both working?
Yeah. Can hear the other side.
They're both on.
Perfect.
But why is that one not stopping?
Does it have a limit switch or anything like that?
I bet that's got the I bet I know what happened. The cog in there failed.
Yeah.
And it carried on spinning, and the resistance caused high ampage.
Yeah.
High current, sorry, in there.
Ampage.
Popped it.
That's it. We know the wiring's okay.
I'm glad the wiring's okay, because that could have been a right pain to try and sort out. So I'm not going to film getting this in. I'll get this in now and get the other light in, and then we will. The other thing we're going to put these ducts in. We've got to do that. And then yeah, you'll join us in a minute when they're all bolted down. We'll see if it works. I'm hoping that it will do. You never know. And as usual, we're rapidly running out of light. We've assembled that unit back in, and the bad news is that motor in this light here has got red hot. So whether there's a fault with the motor or a fault with that module that we've not managed to fix, I'm not sure. But for now, I've just set them so that they're both permanently up, and I think that'll do for now. So this draws us to the end of the evening, just because we've got a load of tidying up to do and we're running out of light. And I'm hungry. Yeah. And I could do with a pint actually, but it's not the end of the episode. So next time you see us, hopefully it'll be a bit lighter, and we'll do a bit more work on this beastie. Stay tuned. It's another day messing around with the C5 Convertible. What are you up to, Chris?
Sorting this wiring loom out.
This wiring loom looks a mess. I'm going to insert some video footage of what it used to look like. It was horrendous. It had how many Scotch locks?
26?
Yeah, it had about 26 Scotch locks in it.
Something like that.
About 10 bulb holders, and it was unbelievably bad. So we basically, off camera, rewired the whole thing, and yeah, it's not perfect in terms of the visual appeal.
It will be better though.
But it's miles better, and it works properly.
Yeah,
because we managed to just about scrape it through an MOT with double flashing blinkers and stuff. So what Chris is doing now is he's using this fabric tape, which looks like this, to just wrap the loom and neaten it. And then once he's done that, we're going to cable tie it all into position. And this stuff, this is only...
That's temporary.
This is temporary, just to hold it together. So these are little factory fitted brackets where you put a cable tie there, just to secure the loom into position. So while Chris is doing that, I am messing around with the interior. There's a load of old, as always with old Japanese import cars, loads of excess wiring. I mean, tell me in the comments if you know what this is. Some sort of weird aerial, and there's two of them. So they're like, I'd call them bunny ear aerials.
Imagine them strapped to the back of the car once upon a time. And you think there's one here and one over there. Can you see?
What, one each side?
Yeah.
Horrendous. There's a fault with that speaker in that door card, so we've got that off. And yeah, we're just sort of going through it. I'm going to take the seats out and give the carpets a proper shampoo. The dashboard was covered in this rank lacquer stuff, so I'm going to give that a deep clean as well. Perhaps have a look at the wiring behind the stereo. The last job, well, we need to buy a new headlight module. So at the moment the headlight motor controller is disconnected and they're just constantly up, but we've got to get a new module so that we can get the headlights fixed. And then the last job will be to install new badges and give it a final clean. Then we can take some photos and do a driving video and stuff, and hopefully try and find a new owner for it. It's turning out to be a really nice car though, don't you think?
The badge has to be the last job, the finishing touch.
Yeah, the badge has to be the last job. So let's make a bit more progress, and you'll join us when the seats are out, hopefully when the wiring loom's all wrapped, and we'll test the wiring on the back to make sure
Nothing's going wrong along the way.
Make sure Chris hasn't managed to break anything. But it was working well yesterday, wasn't it? And would you say it's fair to say it fixed the ABS fault?
Yeah. When the brake lights don't work, it triggers an ABS warning. So open loop. So I'm guessing it just knew there was a bulb out.
Yeah. And talking of bulbs being out,
What?
the engine management light appears to be missing, doesn't it? And there's a fault code on the PCM for open circuit on the engine management warning light.
Yeah.
So we think...
Maybe the bulb's gone. They are only normal bulbs.
I doubt the bulb... Well, it's been on for so long that the bulb's gone.
Maybe.
But usually when you key on, I'll just show you actually. So when you start any car, if you put it in key position 1, the engine management light is always supposed to come on so that you know that it's working. So on this car, it's supposed to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not. So that it's either the bulb's gone or someone's taken it out.
Place your bets.
What are you going for?
Maybe.
Go on.
All the aftermarket rubbish was triggering the engine management light at one point, and they thought, let's just take it out.
So you're saying that the bulb doesn't exist?
It might not. It's either one of the two.
Or do you think it's blown? I don't think it's in there.
Okay, I'll go for it's blown then, just
all right, then.
to make it interesting.
We'll find out, but I don't think it's in there. Yeah. Cool. All right.
There's no fundamental engine management issues other than it's not got a bulb.
Well, I'll mess around with that wiring and get rid of that, and then we'll take the seats out and I'll take the dash out. A little bit more progress. Chris has appointed Becky to wash his car, so that's good. Passenger seats out. And I've been messing around trying to figure out why that tweeter in that door doesn't work. The bass speaker does, but the tweeter doesn't. I've had all of the dash out, as you do. And because these have a Bose amplifier, to use an aftermarket stereo, you have to use this thing, which is like the converter box, and as you can see, the wiring's a bit of a mess. Anyway, I found a broken wire there that was coupled with the left-hand output that goes to the amp. which you can just about make out where that solder blob is. So in theory all we've got to do, and I've tested it by touching them together, I know it works, solder that, put some heat shrink on it, job's a good one. We've also got to do a repair on the heater panel, because common fault with these, there's no illumination at night, so that's an easy fix. We just got to repair it, and then while all the dash is all apart, it gives us a chance to clean everything down, vacuum it, get rid of a load of the dusty rubbish, and then we're going to move on to here and change some bulbs in the instrument cluster, and we're going to find out if the engine management light is missing or malfunctioning. And how are you getting on with the wiring loom?
It's looking alright. This bit's a bit of a rat's nest, but I mean this side looks almost professional. Almost. Not like GM professional, but maybe small British car manufacturer professional.
Oh, that's looking loads better though, isn't it?
It's going to feed through nicely. Just have to pray it still works.
To be honest, as long as it's all neat and everything and buttoned up, that should be good enough. It doesn't get any water in there, so.
Not like that, shouldn't
But
it?
I mean, everything's been soldered, and you know you've used heat shrink and everything, haven't you? So it's all good.
So it should be all good. Perfect, lovely stuff.
Happy days.
Get
Right.
onto HVAC once.
Can I plug this soldering iron in then and do this?
Yeah, plug it in. Go for it.
I must say, Chris, your drive's a lot nicer to work on than mine is.
Why?
It's more room,
Oh, yeah, I suppose there's a bit more room.
and we're further away from the road.
This car is the story of nice little fixes, really, isn't it?
Only the lonely. I'm not a big fan of Roy. I prefer more grittier 60s music.
I think he was. Ladies rock, wasn't he, really?
Yeah. Was old Roy a bit of a ladies' man then?
I think so, yeah.
That's not a bad solder joint, that'll do. Let's put that on there. Right, I'm going to call that done. I think that's all right. We'll get this back in the car. Ooh. So things have escalated a little bit. More progress. Stereo is now back in. Dashboard completely removed. Driver's seat's obviously out now. And what we've been trying to look for is on the cowl. Where is the cowl? Where did I put the cowl? So two things about this. This is the thing that goes behind the steering wheel, a little bit of trim. One is it's got telescopic adjuster on it, which wasn't working. We cannot find that loom at all. I've checked the option codes, and the car doesn't have the optional movable steering column. Just, it's not fitted. So somebody has changed this at some point. We reckon it's probably had an aftermarket steering wheel on it.
Maybe they had designs of putting this in and realised it was more than buying a switch and plugging it in.
Maybe. Either way, this column's like, well, seen better days, put it like that. So we're going to have to find a creative way of making it fit nicely again. But at least we know that this plug for that doesn't exist in the car. So that's good. Chris has got the binnacle out. So what we're going to do is change some of these bulbs, don't work. The backlight bulb
did start working on the way home.
Did they?
So it's
loose connection.
Loose connection.
Yeah. So we'll look at those. The backlights all work, so that's fine.
Do you know what the backlights are in these?
No.
They're two strip lights.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. They're
what, like little neon?
like little neon strip lights.
Oh, that sounds cool.
So you can't really do anything with those.
No, so they're all right, but they work anyway.
And that's why it says warning, do not open.
Yeah. Oh well. But what we really want to see is whether or not the engine management light's been taken out, or whether the bulb's blown. It's probably been on for so long the bulb's blown. So let's go into the garage now and see if the bulb's missing or just blown. And if it's not missing or blown, I'm a little bit scuppered. Yeah, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'll just edit it all down.
Someone's been in here before.
Right then.
Somebody's been in here before.
Funnily enough, It's very strange, but the bulb for the engine management light is missing. Is that definitely the right bulb?
Oh, I think so, yeah. It's about there. Do you want to flip over?
Go on then. So, somebody, some smart aleck, has removed that bulb.
There's another one here missing.
Although, to be fair, that doesn't... I think it's that one.
I think it's there, yeah.
I think it's that one.
Maybe that's...
You got some pliers?
I think it is that one. It seems a bit low, that.
Yeah, I think it's that one.
In which case it isn't missing, maybe it's just blown.
So you've got ABS, traction control. Don't know what
maybe it's shift 1 to 4 or something like that. I don't like that at all.
Is that blown?
It is blown.
It's blown.
It's blown.
Oh, well that's a good thing, isn't it? 'Cause it means that no one's messed around with it. Does that pull out? No. Have you got any of these?
I have got a normal bulb. You can jimmy them in.
You can what?
Jimmy them in.
What, a normal bulb?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Maybe not.
Let's have a look at it. Some you can, some they pull out, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know if you
And
can.
some they're soldered in. I think... Yeah, there you go.
Is it soldered
So that
in?
just pulls out.
Oh, it's like a little W5W type thing, isn't it?
It's typical of you, Chris, to have model train accessories bulbs.
They were bought specifically. Specifically?
Oh yeah.
For the
your model
C5.
train.
For the C5. For the HVAC.
Were they?
Yeah.
Let's
Specifically for the HVAC.
I reckon if you put it like that, that'll work. That's working, isn't it? I'm on the track.
Okay, that means it should power it.
That's tight in there as well, it's not going to fall out. Cool. Shall I put this back then?
I think so, yeah.
So we've managed to jimmy a bulb in there and have tested it and it works. So we'll get this back together, get it back in the car. So these are what we're going to try and look at replacing the bulbs in, or just making sure that they're seated properly. So you can see there's actually quite a lot of work to get to this. You read on the internet, people say it's a nightmare job, but actually it's quite easy.
Not bad at all, no. It's all relative.
It's just lots to unscrew. Do you need to undo that panel there, or can you just access it?
You can just access it here. That just takes the whole panel out.
But you don't need to do
You
that.
don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You need to do that if you want to do the screw. If you want to change them for soldered in ones, as a lot of people do.
So they
screw it. Yeah, they should just fall out. There you go.
like that.
The little blue bulbs.
And you reckon it's just a connection
It's just
thing?
a connection thing. You
So-
can test the bulbs.
Have you got ready to go bulbs, or do you have to solder them in?
No, I've not got ready to. These ones, I soldered them directly onto the tracks.
Well, I reckon if we clean the tracks slightly, like that.
But all 3 bulbs were on the other day, so the all bulbs work.
Have you got a little bit of emery?
Yes, I have. They're right here.
Awesome. I can do this. Lick it. Right, they're all in. So if I do a continuity test on this now. Right, so what I've done is I've cleaned up the contacts on those bulbs. Just cleaned up where they touched the board in there, belled them out, and they all seem to work. So they should be all right. So we'll get this back in the car now and build it all up, and then I think we'll give the carpets a bit of a shampoo, give it all a nice vacuum, and then reassemble it. And I think that's probably it for the dash stuff. Oh, we've got to do the HVAC panel, so we'll leave this stuff as it is here for now. And that should be a nice little fix, nice little day of messing around fixing stuff. Dashboard's all back in nicely, it's all working. Chris is going to hit the interior with the Hoover. I'm going to go and solder those bulbs into the HVAC panel. We're starting to run out of daylight now, so need to speed up a little bit really. But we're making really good progress today. We've done shitloads, which is nice. So I'm going to use these railway bulbs, miniature railway bulbs again. That's the panel. I've got 4 screws to undo. and then I've just got to solder a load of those bulbs into there. So there we go, there are all the bulbs here. Not sure which ones are working and which ones aren't, so I'll do a continuity check. But I think they're all in series, which is why basically if one fails, the whole panel goes down. The easiest thing is probably to just replace them all. Anyway, let's just crack on and do it. That's all back together and soldered. Well, 13 bulbs later, so let's plug it in and see if it works. Plug her in then, Chris, let's see if it works. Ready? Here we go then.
Looks good.
Oh yeah, happy days, that's alright, isn't it?
So much better to be able to see the controls.
Oh, 100%, yeah, it's
changer.
right pain, isn't it, not being able to see them. So as usual, it's dark. We've still got to fit all this.
Less than 2,
but that's a massive improvement, isn't it? We've fixed loads of little bits today.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah, a lot cleaner.
So we've shampooed all the carpets, obviously fixed the put that engine warning light bulb back in, or repaired it.
Isn't it, really?
Giving it a massive clean, because it stank, didn't it, the car? It smelt of like chemicals.
It smelled like turpentine or paint thinner.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to improve it. It smells a lot better in here in a minute, but the roof's off, so
yeah, well that'll air it out, won't it? Right. Should we start packing away then? Get this stuff on?
Yeah, get that centre console in.
That brings us to the end of the video for now. We might film some more and edit it in later. We've still got to fit, you won't be able to see it, so I'm not even going to point, but still got to fit a badge on the front of the car and do a few final bits to get it ready for sale. We're back on the C5 Convertible, and I've got a few jobs to do this morning. It's quite early on a Sunday morning. Not a big fan of that. Chris is on his way soon in the ZR1 because we're going to drop it off to its winter hibernation spot. So we've actually found some storage for the ZR1, which we will reveal to you very soon. But first of all, I'm going to get on the cabriolet, take the roof off, and do a few little jobs on it. It's really, there's not much left on this car now before it's finished. Just lots of little quick and easy jobs. I've got to take the roof down because the first thing that I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to fit these little gas struts that go in this clam. Because at the moment, when you lift the clam up, it's not held up. It just flaps straight back down because the gas struts have gone. So I've got to get the roof down and take the old struts off, get the new ones on, and that should be a nice little first job. So have to get some of this lovely rainwater off, because otherwise when I open the boot it's going to be full of water and that won't be good. Has anyone else ever used a wiper blade to do this? Neither have I, but it seemed like it might work. So as you can see at the moment, that just drops down and doesn't stay up. Let's see if we can find where these struts go. I think they're tucked quite far out of the way, but hopefully they won't be impossible to find. I've located them. They're not in an obvious position. I've had to put the roof temporarily back up, but just under there. Don't know if you can see that on the camera. Should just be a case of popping the old ones out and getting the new ones in. I don't think I'm going to be able to film this. I'll try, but I'm not sure if I can get the camera low enough at the moment. I'm holding it upside down, so we will see. So this one's now off. Just a case of popping it off, and it's going to get the new one back on. So both exactly the same length, so it should fit. I think what I've got to try and do is push it on like that, and then compress it, which might not be very easy. Oh god. Oh god, no, there's no way that's happening. So what we're going to have to do, so I'll put the back end of it on first, which goes on there. And then I think if I close the boot and then open the clam, if I can do this one-handed, I've managed to pop one in and it's already slightly better. Just got to do the other side. So you've got to sort of feel around for the end of the ball joint. There you go. Yay! Done. Happy days. So let's close it and then see how it opens. See if it opens nicely. Yeah, that's going to make life easier, isn't it? Alright, first job done. I can get that trim panel back on, which, by the way, if you're doing this on your own C5, you don't need to take that off. That was me just prodding around trying to work out what was what. Alright then, one down, and see what else I can crack on with before Chris gets here. What time is it? 9:13. He said he'd be here at 9. He's always bloody late. He's going to watch this video and snigger. But yeah, it's a fact. Right, let's see what else I'm gonna decide to do now then. The next little job on the to-do list is to fit these little sill covers, and I'll take some better footage of this once it's fitted. But basically, it will go on here, just stick on self-adhesive, and it should just tidy this sill up a little bit. I feel like I ought to heat it up first, so I'm going to go and do that because I think that'll make it stick better. That's a bit better now. It's a little bit floppier. Hopefully I'll get this in the right position. It's one of those things where once it's on, if you've not got it quite right, you can't take it off again. So wish me luck. And there it is. That's a massive improvement. I'll get the other side done as well. We do need to just touch these chips in and clean this rust off. This is rust that's transferred over from the previous, if you remember. It had those horrible metal sill covers. The rust has basically transferred onto the paint, so we need to find a way of getting those off. But yeah, that's just smartening the look up a little bit, really, for not a lot of cash. I'll get the other side on. Just got to make sure it's really dry, otherwise it's not going to stick. Same deal on this side as well. There's some, you won't be able to see it probably on the camera angle there, but some sort of transfer of rust onto the paint. A little bit annoying. It could easily be sorted out, but that'll be a job for the new owner, not us. We reckon this car's going to be ideal for somebody that wants a good, usable, everyday C5 for a good price that you can slowly improve and personalise in your own time. But yeah, that's another one on, and that looks really, really nice now. As always with a C5, these have seen better days, so we've got some new ones. Chris is going to bring them with him, so we get those fitted when we arrive. But for now, I'm just going to take these ones off. The way that you do it is you push it forward, and I've already done this in the video on Kev. I'll post a link in the description, or you can click up here. But basically, that's worth a watch if you've not seen it. You just push flat blade in there, and then should just lever out. There you go, that's it. So that's how you get that out. And then in here there's a little clip. Pop the clip off. Got to be careful not to damage the loom. But yeah, you just lift the clip up and pull it out. Bit corroded that is, that might need a little bit of a clean. And that needs to just go back in there. Not sure how it goes. Oh, there's a keyway. That makes it easy. On to the next. That one came out much easier than the passenger side. Question is, can I find the clip? Aha, there it is. Good little tip is to work that backwards and forwards before you try and take it out. Because if it suddenly snaps out and catches your finger, I know from experience it really bloody hurts. And that's out too. A little bit of corrosion again on those pins. I don't think they'll stop the mirrors working. What we're going to try and do is save these Japanese market stickers and put them on the new visors, just for a little bit of prosperity, because we think they're pretty cool. What do you reckon? It's a sort of nice, oh, they're coming off quite easily actually. Nice part of the car's history in a way. There's one of them. They're probably quite rare stickers as well. They're genuine GM. They've got a GM part number. I might Google that and see if they're something that you can buy. I doubt it. But yeah, they'll go on the new visors as well, just to keep the JDM element running through the veins of this lovely C5. Next job involves going under the bonnet. So if you remember from earlier in the video, we had this headlight out, and oh, look who's turned up. Has he got Becky with him? No, he hasn't. She couldn't get out of bed then. You look like you're half asleep.
It's about 6 in the morning, isn't it?
How did it drive?
Fine.
Was it alright? Yeah.
Didn't miss a beat.
Excellent.
Didn't miss a beat.
Oh, it's actually starting to look like a usable car.
Oh yeah. It drove lovely.
Good.
It drove like a normal car. That's how I describe it. It drove like a car.
Like a car.
Like a normal car. Nothing weird. Nothing strange happening.
Good.
No jalopiness.
No sloppy jalopiness. What have we got in here then? Got some of the crap in there.
I've got this, which we need. I don't know what these are, to be honest. I guess they're part of the front underneath somewhere. I thought they might be needed. I don't know if they are or not.
I'm going to tell the audience now where we're getting all these parts from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to just cut into that scene, and then we'll be back on my drive very shortly. Right, I've come to pick up some parts for the convertible. This is the headlight thing I need. And if you're wondering where I'm getting them from my secret parts stash, do not tell my wife. But I've bloody bought this, haven't I? So, got loads of parts. Some of them are in better condition than others. But yeah, I'm just gonna pick a few bits off it today and see what I can pilfer. But yeah, keep it a secret. Don't tell my bloody wife. I'll end up being sacked. I'm going to take that because I need it for the airbox. Obviously, the headlamp module, which was bolted to there, which fell off a long time ago, I'd imagine. What else do we need? We need the rear view mirror. Got to get that. That might be. Oh, I might get the cowl off the steering wheel. And yeah, just gonna have a quick look, see what else I can grab. Oh, it's a poor thing, this, isn't it? I'd love to put it back on the road, but I'm just not sure if it's in too much of a state, really. think for now that's all I need. So I'm just going to show you inside, because I'm not sure if on the other video where we showed this car you had a look at the interior. Now personally, I love these. They're like a teddy bear colour. I think it's called oak. It's like a teddy bear colour carpet, and I think it looks amazing. So what I think I'm probably going to do is take these carpets out of here and put them in Kev, the Project C5, you know, the burgundy car that I've done other videos on. Let me know what you reckon in the comments. I'm thinking of doing like a combo of black and brown on the interior, and then doing a colour change, a body colour change that sort of matches. Obviously it wouldn't be painted brown, but goes with the brown interior, because I think the brown interior is cool. Right, anyway, let's get these parts in the car and put the sheet back on and go home, and I'll worry about what we're going to do with this another day. Such a shame though, isn't it? Tell me in the comments, what would you do if this car was yours? And don't say that you'd ask the scrapyard to come and pick it up. But I think it's too far gone anyway to put back on the road, but I don't know, it needs to be inspected properly. One more thing, if you're looking for an engine or any parts from a C5 and you've seen something on this that you need, drop us a message. We might be able to come to some sort of arrangement. I'm going to get this stuff in now that I've pilfered. I've also taken, for what it's worth, one wiper blade and this steering cowl, because we do actually need one of those. It's broken on the convertible. So back to base now. We'll get these fitted. Right. You've got the visors. You've got the air dam.
Remaining scoop. I've got this thing.
Yeah.
I've got 2 window motors.
Yep.
I've got that old box which I don't think is any use.
Oh yeah.
I've got your pots.
You look like you need a tea.
Yeah. God, long day.
Well, I think I was before Chris turned up, I think I was halfway through explaining that I might fit this this mirror. The reason being, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's like loads of water damage on it. You see that? It's loads of water damage on there, so it just looks scruffy, doesn't it? So we've got this one out of our secret breaker, which you've now seen, and let's get it fitted. So all you need to fit this is a T20. So that just goes in there. Oh, you know what? I think the crash one's a 98 and it had a T20 in here. And this one looks like it's a T10 or a T15. I hope it's not a T15 because I've lost mine. And we've not got many tools here. If I'm careful with a T10, I might be able to just tease it out and then put the T20 back in. Because I bet the thread size is the same on the mount for it. It would be a T15, wouldn't it? Let me see if I've got an Allen key that fits. Ah, that's loose. Someone's replaced this before. I bet that this has had one of those horrible LCD Japanese Chinese mirrors on it at some point. There you go. So there we go. That's the old one. And that's the new one. I think it's going to be a little improvement there.
100%.
Let's get it the right way around. Clip that in there. Slide that on there. Oh yeah.
Instant improvement. It's just made the interior look 10 times better. The lights work.
Both the lights work. Good. And the correct bolt, which I don't think that one is, because that one looks...
This car's had a fair bit of it, hasn't it, to be fair?
That looks like some sort of hope. In fact, just try and zoom in on that. Someone's gone to the trouble of actually cutting that with a grinder. And it's like, why not just get a screw that's the correct one? So that is the correct one, that's a T20.
Bang that one in there.
I don't know what's wrong with people. There we go, lovely. That's a lovely little repair there.
There we go, factory finish now.
Shall we get these in? Yeah. These visors?
I've got them in the back of the ZR1.
Go on then, you grab those and bang them in and I'll film you. Excellent.
Brand new.
Awesome. And you don't even need any tools to fit these, do you?
Do you need a little screwdriver just to turn it around afterwards?
I think it self-locks afterwards. You might need a flat blade.
So that's that one.
Yeah. First one's in. I didn't film it. Chris is not 100% happy with the...
It should be on, shouldn't it?
Yeah. So we need to take that out and get the connectors cleaned.
That one works.
That one's all right.
So yeah, that one needs to come out anyway.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that off camera and make sure that that's working. These things always break. It's like a common failure point, cheap plastic. But on here, they've managed to survive.
Which way's the best way for it to go? I feel like it's up there somewhere.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's just not wanting to.
That one's in. That's perfect. Nothing wrong with that. Right, that took a little bit of fannying around, but passenger side one's in and working and fixed. Driver's side, we fitted it. We weren't happy with the connection because inside there is a little bit...
Not terrible.
It's not terrible, but a little bit greeny. And also the fit wasn't quite right. So we're just going to clean that and make sure that light's working. Right, so we've taken this out, messed around with the connector, verified that the connector is live by shorting it with a screwdriver.
It definitely is live. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely live, so we plugged the old mirror in and the lights worked. So we think that this mirror has like some sort of faulty LED circuit. So unfortunately no illumination on the driver's side just yet. At least we've got two brand new sun visors and a nice, shiny, good quality rear view mirror.
That's in a bit better as well this time. So.
Excellent. So just to recap then, today we've done the rear view mirror, the visors, the trims on the door, the gas struts for the rear clam, which is a massive, massive improvement. Just makes life so much easier when you're putting the roof up and down.
Oh, it does, definitely.
So the rest of the remaining jobs are under the bonnet, and that is going to take this horrible K&N snorkel thing off. We fitted the standard airbox earlier in the video, but the design of this snorkel meant that because we didn't have the right shaped accordion
thing,
we couldn't fit the standard.
Because that's longer.
What do you call that thing there?
Snorkel?
Snorkel, air intake.
Yeah.
Extender.
Yeah. It's a bit of a snorkel.
Anyway, we couldn't fit the standard one because we didn't have the right mount, but we've got that now, so we'll quickly just whiz that off and fit that. Then after that, we've got to take the headlight out, replace the motor control module, which you saw earlier in the video. We tried to fix it by soldering some wire over that fuse, and that didn't work. So hopefully that sorts out the headlights, and we've also got to wire the horn. And then that'll be it.
Yeah.
We're done. The car is done at that point, ready for sale. So we'll take it for a quick blast and do a little bit of review of it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, all right then. So
whip this off.
If you want to whip that off, I'll start getting the headlight out. Sound good?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so we're going to do a quick test on the headlights to make sure that this one hasn't got a direct short on the motor, which is causing that motor controller to not work properly. So what we're basically going to do is just compare the resistance across the terminals on the left hand and right hand motor. And what we want to see is we want to see it not shorting out. This is the worst bloody multimeter ever
in the world. Have you got some detail, did you say, in the boot of this?
Yeah.
Just want to clean that up a bit whilst it's in my hand.
I think that's that seems like it's shorted, you know.
That would make sense. That's why it's overheated, then it's melted the thing, hasn't it? That would make a lot of sense to me, that.
Don't know if you guys can see that on the pulled the lead out. Anyway, basically we've tested it and this motor has got a dead short, so it's pointless.
I predicted that.
I know you did, yeah.
I predicted that.
Yeah, well done, mate. So that means that we can't finish that. We're not going to let it stop us finishing our video. We'll sort that out. Basically, we'll sort that out for the new owner, but we're going to have to just leave it for now.
Yeah. We've got two headlight motors in the back of there.
Left and right?
There's two motors.
Is there?
I'm sure there's 2 motors in that. Look at that. There might be. I don't know if they're both right or something stupid, but
Oh,
can't see how
check.
they can be. I'm sure I saw 2 headlight motors in the back of there.
I thought there was only one last time.
I could be wrong. Maybe it's only 1.
Right, that's a turn up for the books. It turns out that we've got a spare motor, but we're not going to fit it yet. We're going to still fit this control unit first, because we don't know if that control unit caused this motor to short. Basically, we don't know if that control unit killed the motor. So we don't want to kill this motor by plugging it straight in, even though I'd love to have a go with it and see if it works. So I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to leave... Well, actually, I've got to take this one out anyway.
Yeah.
So I've got to
take
this headlight pod out, take that motor out, and then do the same on the other side. We'll replace everything and try it. How are you getting on with the airbox?
Yeah, it's this seems like it will go on there. I need to loosen this off a bit.
Cool. Right then, so we have disassembled the 2 headlight pods. They're out. This has been replaced, so that's the new old, brand new second-hand motor module.
Shall I plug it in?
Plug it in, and what we're going to do is test that our new motor. I also had to do a bit of a soldering job on there. I didn't.
Okay, it's just going ad infinitum.
Oh, okay. Mine's stopped now.
That's good. Has that stopped at the same time then?
I think so, yeah. So let's...
That's a good sign, I think.
Alright, so let's see now if I turn this on.
Ignition might... Is it ignition on?
It doesn't need to be, does it?
It might need to be for headlights up. Oh, maybe not, no.
Are they both spinning?
Yeah,
both stopped at the
same time, yeah. It's not hot.
Well, I'm going to call that repaired.
I think so, yeah, I'd agree.
So they're off. Right, okay.
Result.
So these have got to go back in. What we've also got to do is put the horn down here, and I'll just show you down here. We couldn't find the horn wiring, if you remember earlier in the video. I couldn't find it. Anyway, I found it there and it's been butchered. So we need to splice the new horns onto there and find a way to mount them. I'm sure we can find somewhere convenient down at the bottom. And I think we're going to be done at that point, other than the badges.
Yeah, I think so, pretty much. Horns.
Horns.
Badges.
Badges, horns.
Go to the pub.
Steering cowl, that needs to go on.
Oh yeah, steering cowl, that's one more.
It's pointless building the lights back up just yet, because we've got to get
the horns in.
Get the horns in. So let's.
Are they all going in one side? Both going in one side?
Both going in one side. You just connect them to there.
So I guess that light can be built up. This is what they give you. 2 of them.
2 little brackets. Yeah.
What else you get 2 horns, obviously.
And is there a link?
That's
a link
all
cable?
You get. It's literally all you get. 2 little cables. No link cables.
All right. So they just have to be twisted together and then
soldered on.
Soldered on. So we need to work out a convenient place that's not going to foul the headlight. So if they hang sort of like that, and we literally just
put them onto that.
Put them onto that bolt there.
Oh yeah, that'll work perfect.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
They'll be out of the way then, won't they?
Not going to get wet or anything too much.
No. It's just whether or not that bolt is
too fat for that hole.
Too fat for that hole, but I can always enlarge the hole if I needed to. So what I'll do is I'll get some star washers and some different bits and pieces
type things.
So I can. I mean, that's quite a neat thing, isn't it? And then they can just be twisted round to face the front of the car like that.
And then hopefully people get out of the way.
I hope so. Right, I'll go and get some washers.
Get out of the way. I'm in my Corvette.
Not doing a very good job of this. I think I won't bother with the spring washer.
Oh, I wouldn't bother with the other washer myself.
Alright, I'll put the spring washer on just for you, Chris. Making a reet pig's ear of this. I won't put this on camera. I'll make it look like I'm perfect. Like I'm a perfect mechanic. So I'm going to get these just on by hand. And then when I position the horns, I'll tighten them. For heaven's sake, Christopher. It simply will not go on.
Did you have a Meccano set growing up?
No, I had Duplo.
I can tell.
What's wrong with me? I'm blaming the Chinese nut. There you go. It's on now.
Perfect.
Right, so I need a little 10mm.
Fascinating, watch someone tighten up a pair of horns.
Gives you the horn. I don't think it really matters what direction they're in. They're going to be effing out anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, going to be loud enough.
Cool, right, so that...
We don't use horns in the UK very often anyway.
The last time I fitted a pair of horns, which I think were identical to this, were on my Lotus Esprit. There is a video of that in the other videos in the channel. It's not a very good video, because I was even worse at making YouTube videos then. But it might be worth a watch. So that will now comfortably sit just there, look. And I'd say that's a pretty slick position for it.
That looks like the original grounding strap for the horns.
I don't know what that's for. Something
There's some wiring going off, isn't there?
It's probably for neon lights. You know, for when you're cruising the streets of Tokyo.
Yeah.
So the question is, Chris, will this...
How big's the bolt?
I think it's an M8.
Or does it need wallowing out?
It might need.
Yeah, it's going to need wallowing out.
So before we solder these up, we'll just twist them together and test that the horns actually work. Because they did come from Amazon and they were like 10 quid. So anything could happen. And there could be a problem with the wiring. So what we'll do, Chris... Ooh, fuck, if I get this in. Who wants to volunteer to stand near the horns? Do you want me to do it or do you want to do it?
Well, how near do you need to be? I mean, I assume you'll be able to hear them at the end of the road, right? If they work.
No, I meant to hold it. I meant to hold the wiring on.
You can do that.
That should be all right. Go on, I'll toot the horn then. Are you ready?
Toot the horn.
See if it works.
That's nice.
That's all right, isn't it?
That's a nice horn.
Friendly. Should we get those soldered then?
Solder them up.
Yeah.
Friendly.
I'll go and get the heat shrink and the soldering iron. Yeah, so you're not really going to be able to see what I'm doing here. But they can come off.
Yeah, they don't need to be in there to solder it, do they?
No, which is nice, because it makes the soldering easier. So, we'll tin these, put some heat shrink over there, solder them into the loom. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
Car's got a horn.
And you've got two working horns.
That aren't finangled into the fuse box for the MOT.
Oh God. The less said about that, the better, Chris. So lucky I've got an MOT tester that knows I'm a complete trustworthy person to actually finish the job off.
I suppose the MOT tester only cares if it's got a horn. They don't really care how it's wired in.
No.
And it would have worked for a long time, wouldn't it? So, in theory.
Yeah, in theory. Right, so they're tinned. Put a bit of Halford's Finest sleeve on there. Like that. So now I've got to do the loom, which is the shitty part. No easy way to do this, to be honest.
There's literally no slack on that they've given it.
No, and I don't really want to be... they could have cut me some slack, man. But I don't really want to be burning holes in the bodywork with this.
No.
Which is the type of shenanigans that I could potentially end up involving myself with. They're not the cleanest wires, really, because they've been...
exposed to the elements for years.
Yeah. There goes then. Let's do the first one. This isn't going to be easy, I don't think. I'll try my best. One. Ow. Knew that was only a matter of time. This one's a shit show. Needs more fresh cable exposing. Do you want to just poke the camera down in there and I'll show the job? So there you go, they're both on now, soldered and heat shrinked.
That was quite nice, isn't it?
So we just need to put the bracket back on, which is going into that bolt hole there, plug them in, and we'll test them again before we put the light in. But assuming that they're okay, we'll have hornage, we'll all have the horn, and then we can fit the light pods back in. And that'll be nice. That'll be a lovely, lovely bit of Sunday morning fixage. It's slightly awkward. That seems like it's not going in straight. No, it's not cross-threaded. It's going in like a knife through lovely warm butter. You need to put a little bit of tape on that loom as well. A little bit of loom tape. And there we go. That's probably
good enough.
Good enough. Moment of truth. Ready?
Sounds like a horn.
Sounds like two horns singing a sweet major third, doesn't it?
Something like that.
Headlights back in then. Do you want to take the left, I'll take the right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Moment of truth then, Chris. The battery's about to go.
Is it?
Let's test these headlights. Yes, go on. Happy days, mate. You got to leave them up. Awesome. Okay, well, shall we get the frames for them back on then?
Yeah.
Okay, so the headlights are all back in. They're tested, they work. We've messed around and changed some clips and things to make them fit a little bit better. You can see there's new bolts on there. Horn box, we don't need that. So I think this can come down now. And Chris has gone to fetch the new badge to stick on there, and then we should be done. Finally. And I think after this we'll take it for a drive and a quick driving review, and then we'll take it to where we photograph cars when we sell them, and I'll get it advertised.
Which way? Does it go that way, yeah?
That way.
Alright, line up the old holes. So I'm guessing that's how you line them up properly.
There we go.
That makes the front look a bit better, doesn't it?
And suddenly it looks complete. It's amazing what a difference it makes just having a badge on the front, isn't it?
It does, yeah. It makes the front end look droopy.
When it's not got the badge.
When it's not got the badge,
Yeah.
It's a bit dopey. Such a difference.
It is. Right then, rear one. Let's do
That
it.
one was easy because it's already been off. This one just is breaking to pieces. So I think we need some. You got any dental floss?
I've got some dental floss, yeah.
That might help a
I
little.
don't know why it's gone so crusty.
It is extremely crusty.
I need a little trim tool, really, you know, to sort of prise it up. Do not tell Carla.
Oof. I get it scratching it a bit still.
Is it scratching it?
I'm going to use this as a little dustpan and brush.
Good plan. I don't think that will stop it sticking. If I do that, so that we know that there's definitely no polish on the cloth. That feels alright.
Foam backiness, doesn't it? Probably don't film how bad it looks before sticking it on.
I don't mind, I've got nothing to hide. We don't hide things on this channel, Chris. So yeah, there is some residue left from the previous badge, but we've strategically left it on there so that we know how to line the badge up. That may or may not be a slight lie. Always have to trust Chris to do the bits that require a little bit of finesse, because he takes his time with these things and gets it right. I tend to end up breaking stuff.
That's good enough, I think.
Happy days, yeah. Needs a bit of a wash down now, doesn't it?
I ain't going nowhere.
So we're done. We're done. The car is finished.
Lovely jubbly.
The only thing that we've not done is we haven't changed this. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it off camera because I can't be bothered to do it now.
Boring as well.
So why don't we pack the tools away?
Yeah.
And we'll go for a quick blast.
Yeah, I think so.
What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Do a bit of a driving review.
Let's go for it. Yeah, let's go.
All right. Best intentions. I always try and keep the tools neat.
Yeah.
And then that never happens. But it shouldn't take us too much to clean it up. Let's go for a spin in the cabriolet. It does sound nice, doesn't it? So we've got a working radio, we've got working headlights, we've got a working horn, we've got a working tonneau cover, we've got working rear lights, we've got nice sun visors, we've got a nice rear view mirror, we've got nice little side sill things, sill covers. There's all sorts of little things actually that we've sorted on this car.
Oh, that smells excellent.
And I have already been driving this car around a bit, so this isn't exactly what I'd call first impressions. But we'll just get some little bit of warmth in it. Oh, we've also got a working oil pressure gauge.
Oh yeah.
What else have we fixed? We've fixed
rear lights were a mess.
Rear lights, yeah. We've fixed an absolute multitude of things.
It's like it's a bit shaky. We're in performance mode. So.
We're always in performance mode. Because in soft mode, the suspension squeaks because it becomes too compliant. There you go, and it's like just not very good. So for me, it stays in performance every time. Oh, the other thing, we fixed the cruise control because sorting out the rear brake lights meant that the cruise control and the ABS fault cured itself. This road's really bumpy, by the way, so we'll be on a better road in a minute.
It's quite compliant, just to do it. I know this road is terrible, so considering that, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
It feels quite a bit smoother than mine.
It is nice having a convertible. Obviously, visibility's loads better as well when you've got the roof down. Love those, not. No, you know what? I kind of like them, but I just think they're hideously overpriced. Thought of the other thing that we've got a fully working instrument cluster.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That was another thing that we fixed.
Engine management lights was blown.
The one fault that we do still need to get sorted is the steering wheel, when you're going in a straight line, points to the left slightly. Not a big deal, we just need to get the wheel off, straighten it, and then probably get an alignment done just to check it. Although it feels pretty well aligned as it is. So what I was worried about with this is I thought that the automatic would be rubbish. And I'm pleased to report it's really not. I think it's almost, not quite, but almost as fun as the manual. And it pulls just as hard.
Such a torquey engine.
Absolutely.
That it doesn't really need any gears. So, force kind of plenty.
If you're thinking of buying a C5 and you want to hold out for a manual, I'd say don't let a good automatic put you off. Don't be put off by an automatic. Take one for a drive and see what you think. Because I'm really impressed by this. So two things that have really surprised me about the C5 convertible, aside from the automatic gearbox, is it doesn't really feel any less stiff than a Targa. So I know on paper they're probably a little bit more flexible than a Targa, but you don't notice on normal driving. You don't notice any difference in stiffness. And the other thing is the cabin is quieter when you've got the roof up. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because you've got quite a lot of insulation in that roof.
Because the cabin space is smaller, it feels a little bit more refined in the cabin. Oh, and the other thing about convertible versus Targa is the Targa, when you've got the panel off, does buff it a lot. You get a lot of wind noise, like a boop, 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 as the wind hits the roll hoop. But yeah, I wasn't a convertible naysayer, but I always preferred the coupe / Targas. But I think for me, the convertible is a great car in its own right, isn't it, really?
Visually, it's a bit more, it's a bit of a sexier car as well, I think, with the roof line being...
Oh, definitely. It looks better, doesn't it, than a coupe? I still prefer the coupes. But this car drives great, doesn't it?
It's absolutely lovely.
I'm gonna go before that van.
The noise is just hilarious.
Which way am I going? Right, I'm a bit lost now. Yeah, Keyworth. And the auto is very, very effortless to drive as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it means you can sit in traffic.
So it's Chris's turn behind the wheel now. I've had more seat time than Chris in this car, I reckon.
Probably. Blows my hair around a bit, obviously.
What do you think about the automatic compared to the manual?
I think it's quite nice. I've always wanted to prefer manual. No, I think it's really good. I'm surprised how good it is.
Yeah.
I don't hate on automatics at all. I've had lots of Jag automatics. It's quite responsive. It's such a torquey car. You don't really need that many gears.
No.
Because you can pull at 1500 RPM. It doesn't need to work hard, this car.
It's still quite lively, isn't it? It's still
very lively.
Yeah.
I don't know who would say this is, it's a fast car. Definitely. I took my dad down the road in it in D-Swart.
Did he?
Yeah.
I bet he loved it.
He did love it.
What other things do you reckon you can comment on then? About how this differs from the other Corvettes that we've driven?
It just feels a bit cruisier. I quite like in a V8 that's an auto, this thing.
It's very addictive.
Feels very
yeah.
V8ish.
Feels really American. Yeah, it does.
It feels more American than my manual, I would say.
Yeah.
That kind of pure Americana matters, isn't it? And then it sits the revs right back down.
It's wicked fun, this car, isn't it?
If you want to drop a gear, you can drop them down. You can hold second, so
Yeah.
you can leave the revs in there if you want.
So you can sort of manually shift it a little bit.
Shift it. It's such a lazy car. Yeah, it's just very fruity.
It is fruity, yeah, that's quite a good word for it, isn't it?
With the auto, also in a weird sort of way, feels more effortlessly powerful.
Yeah, it's really easy to drive actually,
Really
isn't it?
effortless. It's a bit like a really, really fast Jag. It reminds me of quite a lot of, really.
Well, there we go, just a quick insight into our thoughts and feelings on how this thing drives. But I can confirm, and I think you'll agree,
Nicely.
it's very good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, very nice.
It's nice to be in a working car for a change, I'll be honest. So all we've got left to do now is give it a quick clean, take some photos of it, and get it advertised.
100%, yeah, definitely.
Cool, alright then. So you'll join us on location where we are going to be taking some photos, getting it advertised, and that'll pretty much be the end of the video. Sounds pretty good, eh? Right, it's sale time. I've got to put my salesman's hat on and try and sell this C5 Convertible. So this is the bit where I'm going to do a walk around video of the car, so you'll actually see in a bit more detail what the condition's like. So I appreciate so far in the video it doesn't really show in massive detail what the actual condition is like, so we're going to do an in-depth walk around. I'm going to take some stills, get it advertised, and hopefully find a new home for her. And you're either an hour and a half into this and you've watched us waffle, about all the things that we've repaired, or you've fast forwarded to this very bit because you're interested in buying it. But either way, hopefully it's of interest, and after I've done the walk around, that'll be the end of the video. I'm going to start at the back because I think this car is absolutely gorgeous from the back. I hope you agree. If you're interested in Corvettes and you're watching this video, I'm going to assume so. But the convertible body shape, I mean, wow. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And I think the black paint just really makes these cars pop. It just looks wicked from the back. And I've never noticed before, but in this light you can really see the there's a little bit of a ducktail spoiler, like an overhang above the rear lights. And yeah, it just looks super cool. And obviously I've got the roof off because it's a convertible and it's not wet. So therefore the roof should be off. Anyway, we'll talk about the bodywork. So on the rear of the car, overall very, I'd say, clean and original. For the age and mileage, it's done 73,000. Obviously we've fitted a new badge. Yeah, nothing really to speak about. The nice thing about having you know, GRP or fiberglass cars, whatever the technical name is for this particular material, no dings. So the bodywork is very, very straight. There's a bit of fading, if you listen to that noise, and just there, a bit of fading to the rear lights, but you could spend, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes just polishing these, getting them looking really good. We haven't had time. We might do it before it sells. Doesn't really detract from the look of it, but I'd say on the rear, the only real thing that you could fault it with is slightly faded rear lights. The rear deck lid, if you remember early on in the video, we had the clam painted, so that's perfect. The rear deck lid didn't need painting really. And all in all, nice and sharp. The electric aerial works. The side markers are nice and shiny. So it's got Dunlop Lemon tyres all round. It's moving down to the passenger side. Bit of a close-up look at the door. A little bit of slight scuffage there. Handle probably needs a polish. I think the handle had something stuck on it, like fake carbon fibre or something at some point. Mirrors are okay. The mirrors are decent. There's a little bit of sort of stuff on there, I don't know what it is, polish or something. So we talked earlier in the video about this, and this is not an ideal panel gap, is it, to be honest? And the reason for that, which I explained earlier in the video, is that it had these Lamborghini style doors. What that means is in here there's a little clip that in order to fit the mechanism inside, you have to cut that clip off. So it needs a slight repair, and it needs basically a clip fitting in there to pull it forward into the right position. Not a big job, but it's a job for the new owner. We can't really be bothered to get involved with it, and it's only really from one angle that it looks less than ideal, let's say. It doesn't really let the car down, and it's not affecting anything. But yeah, that ideally needs sorting. Front end, very, very, very good. Lovely and shiny. Bumper's perfect. The bonnet has got a couple of slight chips. You'd expect it on the age and mileage of the car. This headlight pod, I'm not sure how to adjust it, but it looks like it's sitting slightly lower than the other one. There must be some sort of like wheel or something that adjusts it up. We've not looked into it, but just to point that out really. And there's a lovely shot of the front. Very, very, very sexy, isn't it? It looks wicked. So it's a 99 car, nicely optioned. It's got the alternative style wheels, the slightly later wheels. I'm not sure if these were factory fitted, but I much prefer them to the wagon wheel style. And obviously they're all in nice condition. We've had them refinished in that anthracite colour. Panel gap on the driver's side is not quite as bad as the passenger side, but it's still sticking out slightly, so you'd probably get both of them done at the same time. I'll show you inside the fuel filler cap, so you can see JDM, Japanese market stickers in there, because of course this is a Japanese import. But yeah, there's really not much to say about the bodywork. The paintwork's even, shiny, glossy, no damage, no major chips. You've got, the odd, if you're being fussy, the odd bits of chips and things, but very, very, very clean. It's such a nice car. I wish I could keep it. Oh, I've got too many cars at the minute. It's ridiculous. We couldn't resist saving this one though. So there's the hood. And I put the hood up on the stills. I'm not going to put it up now because it's a pain. But you can see that it's all in there, sits nicely. Carpets are in decent condition. There's a spare screw there for some reason. This shuts with a very reassuring Golf-like latch. Very satisfying. So, what should we do? Engine or interior or boot? Tell you what, let's do the boot. So to get into the boot, button here, and when the roof is down, it's a little bit of a pain to get in the boot. It's a common thing on C5s, you have to just sort of get your finger under there. If the roof's up, the air pressure change when you shut the door pops the boot open, but when it's down it doesn't. So boot, nice carpets. I've given it a little vacuum. You could improve this. This is actually just sort of, I don't know what that is, what's caused that, but yeah, it's just where the paint's lifted away slightly. But you could take the lid off and probably just dust it over with a bit of matte black. So you got the storage cubbies, they all sit nicely. The net is included, and that's pretty much it really. It's actually got quite a big boot when you've got the roof up. Boot closes nicely, shut lines are good. So we'll do the engine bay next. So the engine bay popper is down here, pull that lever, and obviously it's got the iconic forward lifting clamshell bonnet, as per I think all Corvettes. And there's the engine, so it's nice and dry, no leaks. It's not the cleanest. If you wanted to make it perfect, you could give it a good clean, spend a Saturday morning with the detailing brushes, make it look really nice. But it is what it is under there. I know that phrase annoys people, doesn't it? But it's just an honest engine, it's not been messed around with. We are going to do an oil change before it's sold, so included in the sale price will be an oil and filter change. Mechanically it's spot on, the oil pressure's really good, doesn't make any weird noises. Power delivery's mega, which you'll have already seen. Underneath of the bonnet, quick shot there, probably needs a new bulb for this. But there it is. You've got some more JDM goodness just there. Not sure what that says, something to do with the coolant I think. And then they've obviously removed that sticker over there because that was probably a US market thing. But yeah, the only thing that we've done in the engine bay really is we've changed, well you'll have seen it in the video, we've changed the oil pressure sender and we've fitted the standard airbox back on because it had like a really old K&N airbox. And to shut the bonnet, supposedly on a Corvette C5, bear in mind we've had a few of them, you're supposed to just let it drop from the middle, but it never latches properly. So what we found with this one is if you shut it from the passenger side, it shuts first time every time. But yeah, Corvette C5 bonnets, if you've got one you'll already know, they're a bit of a pain. So, interior, let's have a look. Now these mats, beautiful mats. I bought them off a CCC UK club member, Derek, really nice guy. And I bought them for Kev, but I thought I'd treat this convertible to those mats. So brand new Lloyd mats, really, really plushy, lovely mats. Carpets are nice under the mats, but I love those mats. Been harping on about them for quite a while now. There's the passenger seat, lovely condition. Centre console, all looking good. No deformity in the glove box. Should I say armrest? You know what I mean. And then the driver's side, the seat again. To be fair, lovely original seats. No rips or tears. It's obviously been looked after. And then again, let's have a look under there. You've had some close-ups of the dash already, but there's another one. give you some sort of close-up images of that. In there, that needs a bit of a vacuum, but there's also a JDM flare still in the car. It's not actually a firework, it's a light, but pretty cool. So there you have it, guys. That brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a long one, something different. We've noticed that there's more sort of long form automotive YouTube content at the moment, so we thought we'd give it a whirl. Let us know in the comments if you enjoyed it or if you thought it was too long. We're always open to constructive criticism, but we need to sell this car now, so if you or you know anyone that's interested in it, drop us a comment, find us on Instagram. If you go to the About page on our YouTube channel, you will find details on how to contact us, but you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, you can find Chris, Instagram, Facebook, or leave us a comment. You'll find a way to get hold of us if you want this car, or you probably find the advert. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you around for the next one, which is a ZR1 update, and I reckon a lot of you will love it. The reason being is in the comments of all the other videos, the common denominator is, you need to change these, and I'm giving you a clue what it is by saying these. Guess and see if you can get it right when the next video drops. All right, take it easy. Cheers.